Some people learn to read a room before a single word is spoken. They notice the exact moment a silence turns into rejection, or when the air gets thick with unexpressed tension. If you operate like this, you likely run on a specific hidden logic, the belief that if you can make the people around you feel completely safe, understood, and emotionally regulated, you might finally feel whole yourself. So you adapt. You constantly scan the environment to see who needs reassurance, who feels unseen, and who is quietly spiraling. Without realizing it, your entire identity becomes organized around being emotionally useful. But there is a flaw in this system. What initially looks like deep empathy often results in chronic exhaustion. Your brain gets trapped in an anxious background processing loop, constantly asking, how do they feel about me right now? Did I upset them? Am I still safe here? This relentless external scanning requires so much bandwidth that your internal processing simply shuts down. The end result of this cycle is a vacuum. You spend so much time managing everyone else's emotional reality that you lose the ability to identify what you actually feel. To understand why this happens, we have to look beneath the surface of immediate feelings and examine the hidden structural mechanics of human interaction. This diagram illustrates object relations theory. It maps out why seemingly simple conversations can suddenly feel overwhelmingly heavy. The theory proposes that we rarely relate to the person sitting right in front of us. Instead, we interact through internal emotional models built during early childhood. This means that in any given interaction, two entirely different unconscious systems are running at the exact same time. There is your actual present self, and then there is the specific emotional survival role, the caretaker or the healer, that the other person's unconscious system demands you play. This exhaustion accumulates from the tax of managing a second, invisible psychological system alongside the actual conversation. The psychologist Carl Jung identified the exact mechanism behind how these emotional roles get assigned. He called it projection. As humans, we regularly take the parts of ourselves we cannot tolerate, our hidden fears, our shame, and our emotional emptiness, and unconsciously cast them onto the people around us. Highly perceptive people often find themselves relating not to a person, but to the specific emotional utility they provide for someone else's disowned parts. Making it difficult to break this cycle, society regularly praises this behavior as a virtue, rewarding endless emotional availability and absolute self-sacrifice. But the human nervous system eventually reaches its biological limit for absorbing the internal world of others. The system reaches a point of collapse where the boundary between the self and the other disappears. Escaping this loop requires a hard internal reset. It starts with the realization that other people's projections and their emotional instability are not your responsibility. When your identity has been constructed around being the ultimate caretaker, letting go of that role can feel like disappearing. You are left asking a difficult question. If my value isn't defined by managing the emotions of everyone else in the room, then who am I? Enduring this specific discomfort allows a quieter, more solid self to finally emerge. This new self operates on a different logic. It is a system that no longer requires external emotional validation to maintain its own stability. This illustrates the distinction between how relationships function moving forward. You learn the difference between tarrying people and caring for people. Caring connects two people through empathy, while carrying slowly dissolves the identity of the person doing the heavy lifting. Establishing this emotional boundary doesn't mean you become cold or suddenly lack empathy. It results in the ability to remain yourself inside the emotional reality of others, without letting your nervous system belong to everyone else.